Good day, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a great honor to be presenting in the APAC Data 2030 Summit this year. My name is Rajib. I lead the data analytics for procurement in Cargill. And today's session is about modern data management with data catalogs. Before we get into nitty-gritties, let's talk about some of the business challenges which you might have seen, which has actually encouraged me to come out with this sort of a presentation because I have around 16 years of experience in implementing data projects, and this is what I have seen since the very beginning. And the way the industry is shaping right now, we are regularly challenged with big data. You all know that how the volume of data has increased over the last decade, and how much data we handle on daily basis. So based on those things, it's very important that you manage your metadata, right? So in every CXO's mind, there is you'll find that digital transformation takes the topmost priority. So and in digital transformation, data is a single piece. There is hardly any project run today that can go without data and analytics, right? So for data and analytics to be available, to make best use of data analytics, to showcase the value or unleash the full power of data and analytics, what you are going to need is good metadata management. Without metadata management, it's very difficult to work on data in silos. So it actually brings you to that notion of data and analytics in silos, which is something we should avoid. Okay, because the data assets that you are creating on daily basis, that should be available to the business so that they can understand the value, they can develop the trust in your data. um, they can start using that data set to take better decisions. So as data leaders, our job has always been to provide the right data to the right people so that they can take at the right time, of course, so that they can take the right decisions, right? So that is what we have always wanted to do. And data catalog actually enables us to do that, because with data availability of data catalogs showcasing your data assets, you are letting the whole organization know where is the data, how to access it, what columns do you have, everything in there. So before we get okay, so let's talk about metadata. We have all known metadata as the data about data. So in modern day, we say that it's the embodiment of information of your data assets. If you centralize those, if you collate all of that, what it becomes is your organizational metadata. Okay, so there are three parts to it, of course. So there is technical metadata, there is business metadata, and there is operational metadata, of course. So what is technical? Technical is nothing but your schemas, your tables, your columns, your data types, your sizes of data elements, everything in there is the technical portion of it. Of course, the list of reports is a new thing that we add in so that you can quickly find the lineage as well. Not only that, you can actually start reusing your data assets within the repository, your inventory of reports. So that also becomes very, very clear. So uh, so that's about technical metadata. Why is business metadata so important? Now the business metadata is nothing but putting in your business knowledge in there, right? So the business SMEs who come on board, and they basically categorize or classify or put tags or put annotations to the data elements, putting the business meaning, aligning on the data definitions, global data definitions, organizational data definitions. That's what they do, which is of paramount importance. Unless you have that within your metadata, there is always going to be ambiguity towards what data assets you have, right? So coming to the operational metadata portion. So if you have a data warehouse, a data lake, or a simple extract, transform, and load process, at the end of it, what you have is operational metadata. So we are collating all of that and pushing those and as the metadata in as a sum, like the technical, the business, and the operational. So let's jump to the next slide. Okay. So why do we manage metadata? It's super important to understand why do we manage metadata, right? So there are five pillars. As like this is from my experience of working in the data field for the past 15 years almost. So first one is to avoid the data silos. Okay, so why do you want to avoid the data silos? Unless you like there is inconsistent metadata and like the data silos bring in this inconsistent metadata and it starts providing you the conflicting information, right? Unless you go for a full-fledged metadata management platform, the information is never consistent. So that is the first thing you need to realize. Though to avoid data silos, you need to go for metadata management. There is no choice. Then there is a trust factor. Unless you bring your business SMEs on board and they start endorsing your data sets, you cannot build trust within the user community, and they are never going to say, hey, this data is rock solid and we can use it for reporting. That brings in confidence, and that's how you go into your analytics journey. Third factor, and the most important factor, is cost, of course. So unless you have data metadata management, you don't know what data exists, and you keep on creating the things which you have created already before. So same analysis, same data set, same reporting can happen. So that will incur additional cost to your projects, which is a strict no-no and which is something you should avoid. Definitions, of course, you need to avoid the duplicate data definitions across the world and across your organization. That's why it's very important to look into the definitions in a holistic manner with the technical experts and business SMEs and working on the data definitions. Okay, and then the self-service analytics piece. Self-service analytics is a journey, right? And it starts with a good metadata management platform. When you start knowing that what data elements you have, where you have it, how to access it, then your reporting and dashboarding becomes super easy. And that's the journey that you want all of your business users to take. So that is where we all need to go. That's why it's super important to bring out your metadata and showcase your data products using a data catalog. So let's jump to the next slide now. So let's talk about the challenges in terms of traditional metadata management. Okay, there are two main challenges. One is the manual metadata management, and the second one is the siloed one, right? The first thing is uh, the manual one. Let's take on the manual one first. This is what I have seen in the past. So multiple projects are happening. People are doing a manual metadata management in a siloed fashion. Okay, what are the challenges with manual metadata management? Firstly, too many steps, and the second one, it's too slow, too time consuming for developing new metadata, too time consuming to edit the ones that you already have, and it starts making your entire project, maybe a project in which you are creating a data asset or a project in which you are supporting with data, it makes it very slow. Now, if that is slow, the problem that you have in there is you cannot live with that. So you'll have to definitely start taking measures, and the maintenance is very time consuming. It's very error prone, So there can be multiple issues because you are not using AI/ML here. You are using manual intervention multiple times, so it becomes very challenging. And it also enforces the modernization and the tool automation requirement that we have, right? Then we have the siloed metadata management. What is the siloed metadata management? Different metadata management happening for different projects or different source systems or different implementations. So you are managing metadata in different ways in different places. There is lack of centralized metadata. There is no common template. You are sharing, you're not being able to share the same metadata. You are not being able to reuse. It's a very difficult situation, and you also have a lot of challenges in case of data governance if you are doing metadata management in a siloed fashion. So that adds to the problem. So there is a requirement of modernization and centralization, of course, of uh, the whole metadata. Okay, so that's why it needs overhauling into the your metadata management strategy. We'll look into that. Okay, so let's get into the next slide. Now, this is a super important slide where we focus on the metadata management strategy. What do we need in terms of a metadata management strategy? What was not there previously? So we say that your metadata management is basically a toolkit. It's a toolkit of best practices and technologies which will be used to manage the information about your data assets within the organization, making it more visible to the business users so that they can keep on using it, which brings in value, and you reduce the time of delivery of reports and dashboards, which is super important in some cases. And it supports all the projects, all the data projects, or all the projects which have data requirement. Okay, now global metadata is a blueprint of your organization's data assets. I don't think there is any doubt about it, but you need to put that blueprint to the forefront using a data catalog. So you can bring in self-service analytics with metadata management strategy. You can start giving the users the data elements, the definitions of it, so that they can start using it in their reports and dashboards quickly. Then you can encourage people to take data driven decisions, not only their gut feeling, and it actually enforces the analytics adoption as well. Okay, there is of course ROI. We'll get into the ROI bit of data catalog soon, but before that, let's also talk about the fair data principles, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data. That is what comes out of your metadata management strategy, and that's what you should look for. Okay, now coming to the data catalog, what should the metadata management strategy expect from a data catalog? We expect consolidated metadata. We expect synchronization of metadata in real time or near real time fashion, say 6 hours or 24 hours. If there is a new column addition, there is a alter in the there is some alteration in the table, there is some new addition to metadata, it should start reflecting soon. Centralizing metadata, so you have a common platform now, you have a common template, so you cannot maintain metadata in a silo anymore, so you have to adhere by the template, which is super important here. Data discovery has to be there, so your searching can has to be quick over there. Okay, so data access, so you provide your data access patterns over there, how to access, how do I provide like provide access, what are the accesses that you need to request for, uh, what is the data uh, you can bring in the data governance using the data catalog. Okay, so what kind of data governance are we talking about? So there was no data governance practically in the previous metadata management solutions, but here what you are doing is you are actually governing the information. Your data stewards can simply go ahead and stop providing access to some of the data sets which are super critical for your organization. So that's how you enforce data governance, data protection actually. And then it has to be easily editable and shareable, so that you can bring in your business SMEs. The business SMEs are super critical because you need them to align on the business definitions all over the globe. Okay, then you have your cloud and SaaS solution options. Obviously, the on-prem solutions can be expensive, so you have choices of on-prem solutions as well. But you would obviously look for a cloud or SaaS solution if available and applicable. Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. So the next slide talks about how the metadata management promotes self-service analytics. So this is another important factor, because self-service analytics is something all of us want, right? So to promote self-service analytics, what you need is the power of metadata management behind it. So it tells you what data elements you have so that you can quickly start with your reporting, right? So that is what is important. Data stewards can use it to protect sensitive data. Data consumers, of course, will love it because they can build their dashboards and reports quickly. Business SMEs, the business SMEs will enrich the data with their knowledge of business, but you need to bring them on board. So the platform has to be super user friendly. That is what is important here. Data analysts are also going to love it because like uh, the data stewards will work in protecting the data and making it trustworthy, right? So the data analyst can find a trustable data source and do their data analysis on variety of data sources, and using that bit you can start promoting self-service analytics. You can bring in your descriptive, diagnostic, your predictive and prescriptive analytics to the fore. So that's what I wanted to cover in this slide. Let's move to the next one. Here comes the most important slide. Why data catalog? So you have the answers in the slide itself. You obviously ask questions, like you must have heard the business SMEs or data SMEs asking you a question. Being a data leader, you know that the questions are like, what data do you have? Like, what data do we have within the organization? And do we spend a lot of time in finding that data? Where is that data available? Is the data quality good? Can that data be trusted? So, and can we provide and receive access easily and securely? Is that an option? So these are the questions. If these are your questions, you have reached a stage where you need modern metadata management, and you need the latest data catalogs. Otherwise, it's not going to help. You have reached a stage where your data set is so complex, people are asking these questions. The business users are asking these questions. So data catalog is supposed to help the business users to find, understand, trust, use, reuse, and share the data assets. So that's what is of paramount importance, and that will bring in your self-service analytics, that will start showcasing data lineage, of course, because you can do the traceability of where it's coming from. Information is knowledge, and knowledge is a big part of it. Easy data discovery will of course be there, has to be there, otherwise the data catalog brings in no value. And there should be easier add edit features so that the business SMEs can enrich the data sets. So that's what is important, and that's why you need a industry leading data catalog to modernize your metadata management. Okay, moving to the next slide. So in this slide, I have outlined some features of data catalog, something like it will basically organize your data assets. It will enforce search and discovery. It will bring in search and discovery, and it will give you tremendous flexibility in terms of searching and discovering all the information. And then multiple data sources you can bring in, and you can gather all the data in the data catalog, all the metadata in the data catalog, and start using it. Metadata curation, which was completely missing, you can bring in the business SMEs to do the metadata curation at the data catalog itself, and within the data catalog you can give options of accessing the data as well. You can um, direct to you can write the access, how to access the data set. You can link it to the access tool, and their business users can apply, and in a flash they have the access to it, which used to take a lot of time. So you are removing dependency for data users from IT, which is going to save a lot of time and is going to help you a lot in terms of analytics adoption. And that's why you need metadata management, and that's why you need data catalog. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So in this slide, I have tried to outline the benefits of data catalog. Let's talk about the gains. So you obviously know that if you are being able to onboard the data resources quickly, something like some data engineer joins your team, but he or she doesn't have a metadata repository in there, a modern metadata management system, a data catalog. So where they struggle is they keep spending time to understand what data you have, basically. So it's a very time consuming process, and I've seen to for the data engineer to be completely productive, it takes months of time. But if you have a data catalog available within it, and you can quickly provide access, you can show the queries underneath, and you can show them the most popular columns, most popular tables, most popular schemas. It's going to be a very easy thing for them to come on board. So we'll bring down the ramp up time from months to weeks. Actually, this is what I have seen and realized in past few years. In terms of timelines, of course, it's going to help you in timelines, because business users are also leveraging this. They're being able to find the data quickly, and you are going to use and reuse more. So you are not going to reinvent the wheel. You are not going to take requirement from scratch in a data project. You are going to first see what you have. Okay, then getting into the decisions bit, of course, the this part is super important. Unless you have trustworthy data, you cannot go for data driven decisions. Of course, it's ultimately a decision that will come from experience, but the data should be supporting it. So that's what data analytics is all about, right? So it's going to augment your decision making, help you to take better decisions. That's what data analytics is for. Then getting into the efficiency zone, where you can start bringing in the self-service analytics. It doesn't only cut down costs, but it also removes the dependency from IT. And your business users know, hey, I need a report for my boss. Here are the data elements. I can quickly create a dashboard and submit it within a day, which used to take 15 or 20 days, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, couple of years back, since we didn't have the data catalog. So that's how the life becomes after adopting to a data catalog and a comprehensive metadata management strategy. And getting into the risk bit, of course, the companies of today are challenged with multiple regulatory compliances like GDPR, PII. So using a data catalog makes your life easy, because you know where is what, and what data set you need to look into, what information you need to protect. So all of that. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Now let's talk about data catalog from ROI perspective. I'm just going to pick a use case which will make you realize what the ROI is all about, right? So say we are talking about the life of a data analyst who is working in an organization without a data catalog. Okay, so obviously the steps to create a report or a dashboard within a data project will take the following steps. So they will first frame the data needs and search for the data. Where is this data available? Whether it's available. If not, how do I acquire it? If it's available, say it's available, then I need to understand in which system it is. How can I access it? I request for the access of data, IT approves it, I get it. So it takes a couple of weeks already finding the data and accessing it before you have started the project. And then you start into the journey of data prep, right? Data prep is a main step here, where after doing some sort of data prep, since you don't have metadata, you don't even know about what reference data, contextual and additional data you will need. So you realize that at the middle of the project and you start bringing that in. Okay, so you have to do data preparation usually twice if you don't have metadata management in a robust way, which doesn't show you what are the reference elements which you can use, what are the contextual data sets, what is the work that has already been done in this zone. That is of tremendous help. Okay, then in terms of analysis, so this is again, you are doing it in a siloed fashion. Since you don't have the metadata management part, you are not reusing it, reusing the current data assets, current reports and analysis and dashboards. So getting into the analyze zone, so your data analysis and visualization comes at last. First, you need to fix the data, right? So once the data is there, it's trustworthy, then you can go for reports and dashboards. But so you can understand the steps. Usually the curve is 2 to 3 months. If you have a newer data requirement and you start delivering at the end of 2 to 3 months only. If you want to bring it down to weeks, I'll show you in the next slide what are the things we can do. Okay. So let's talk about the life of a data analyst who is working in an organization which has a data catalog, a comprehensive metadata management strategy in there. So where it will help is you start with the finding portion. So you frame your data needs, and in a flash, you start seeing that or locating that information in the data catalog. So and you know that this information is available there, you know the access methodology, and you go ahead and apply for that access directly from the data catalog. If it permits, you can always link the access tool over there, and then you get the access of the data, because the data stewards will be a part of it. They can always provide the access to you in a quicker fashion. You don't have to go through the whole IT journey, right? So and then you come to the prepare part. So you obviously have to do the data preparation, but here you have the contextual information and the reference data already available, so it's already linked to your main data set. That's what is the advantage. So you don't have to do the data preparation twice, you do it only once. And you also look for the already available analysis and reports, which is super critical in this case. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. You're going to see if somebody has done some good work in there. Can I leverage it? Can I build on top of this? So that is what we all should do, right? So reduce the delivery times of our projects. Then obviously quicker data analysis and visualization. I've seen cases where we have what we are doing in months a couple of years ago, we're being able to do in weeks now, because we have adopted modernization of metadata management, which is the crux of your, which aligns with your data management, of course. And then the most important thing is you have implemented a data catalog successfully, you are using it on a regular basis. So that's what it brings in. That's what I wanted to highlight, and throwing some light on the metadata management modernization and the new versions of the data catalogs, which people cannot live without. If you are in a digital transformation journey, this is a must. That's where I'd like to close. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.